Eu fico mais nervoso em assistir as coisas do que jogar, né? Eu fui assistir ele jogar, eu sou muito fã dele, muito fã do Royals, e eu fiquei nervoso, né, com aquele jogo, torcendo, porque tinha sido minha primeira vez, com medo deles perderem o jogo e eu ser o pé frio, sabe? Neymar, no comeback, no comeback.
The morning of your first finals, NBA finals practice, I still have a hard time articulating what the difference is. There is just a different vibe in the air. There's a different anxiousness and adrenaline. You know you're so close to your ultimate goal that everything just kind of slows down a little bit. The chaos around practice, around the travel, around the actual lead up to the game is like 100 times crazier than it is during the regular season and even the rest of the playoffs. But it just does something to your focus because you know how real that moment is. And everything is just heightened to a whole nother level that I dream about it all the time, to be honest with you. Like once you get that first taste of it, like every other game, it's really hard to kind of get that excited about because you've already tasted, you know, the ultimate adrenaline rush of playing in the NBA Finals and winning a championship. So that's the best way to explain it. Everything is just, it slows down, but it's just, there's like a laser focus that you tap into that you never really thought was possible.
A vibe de uma final de Champions League, né? Acho que a concentração que você tem é tudo um pouco diferente de qualquer jogo. A minha primeira final de Champions League, eu lembro que eu estava, antes do jogo, eu estava muito nervoso, né? Ansioso para jogar logo, mas depois que começa o jogo, você relaxa total, porque você está focado, porque você sabe o que você quer, você está ali para isso. Então é tudo mais natural.
What you said about, like, it's football as usual, it's basketball, it's the same field, it's the same ball, but and the same for me on the basketball court. But yeah, but there's something that does to you leading up to it that you almost psych yourself out to where you forget, like, all it is, I just gotta put that ball in the basket and do what I do every single day. But
that's worth 2 letters for me.
I don't know the specific day, but it was the summer of 2012. I just had my second surgery on my ankle. And I was sitting on like this makeshift couch in my living room in Charlotte, and me and my wife, it was just me and my wife in the room, and I don't think she ever heard me say, like, ever heard me like doubt myself or doubt the process of coming back from an injury, because I was such an optimistic person. I always see the glass half full, but in that moment, it really tested my kind of mental strength to get through the dog days of a second summer of rehab and not really know where the end was going to be. You always wonder, again, like what we just talked about, you're chasing greatness, you want to be great, but the one thing I couldn't control was my health in terms of my ankles. And she gave me that one line of like don't forget who you are. That kind of kept me focused on that mission, and 2 years later, or almost 3 years later, I'm back on the court winning the championship. And so that moment right there was kind of like the lowest of lows, and it was kind of only up from there.
I have two moments. Foi my back em World Cup, que foi momento onde eu estava num sonho, que era jogar a Copa do Mundo, e você vê assim, saindo de um sonho porque você machucou. Então ali acho que para mim tinha acabado tudo. Eu falei, pô, será que eu vou conseguir voltar a jogar futebol? Será que eu vou conseguir? E ali meus familiares, meus amigos que foram importantes para mim naquele momento, de me reerguer, de estar comigo, de estar perto e me fazer dar a volta por cima. E o outro momento foi agora, que eu tive a minha primeira operação, que foi do pé, que também estava próximo a jogar uma Copa do Mundo, e onde eu não me via jogando, e meus familiares, minha namorada, meus amigos foi onde ficaram junto comigo e me fizeram acreditar no meu sonho, me fizeram acreditar que eu poderia chegar numa Copa do Mundo e disputar novamente. Acho que esses dois momentos são importantes para mim.
The funniest guy in our locker room is Klay Thompson for sure. And I don't think he knows it though, that's the funny part. So he has like this untapped wealth of knowledge somewhere in the back here where he'll just spit like this most random knowledge of like how many gallons Lake Tahoe holds or just something random. But it wasn't a story that like made me laugh or something he said that made me laugh. It was kind of the scenario around him scoring, was it 60 points in 3 quarters 2 years ago? We always joke because Klay's kind of late to everything. He's late to practice sometimes. He'd be late to shoot around and whatnot. This particular day of practice before that game, he missed the entire practice. He didn't show up, nobody could reach him. He didn't even come in late, like he just didn't show up the entire practice. So the next day you're worried about like where his mental space is. And the guy goes out and reads his newspaper before the game, like he always does, and goes out and scores 60 in 3 quarters the day after he misses a practice. It's like little stuff like that just make you laugh because you have no idea what Klay's gonna show up, but he can surprise you at any moment with a game like that or some random fact that only like Google would know. So, so it's pretty good.
Training is horrible.
Yeah, exactly.
In the game.
He doesn't even show up, sleeps through practice, next day 60 in 3 quarters. That's how it goes with Klay.
O mais engraçado do vestiário, para mim, é o Daniel Alves. Alves is the amazing guy. Acho que lá, eu gosto quando ele posta os vídeos cantando. Eu acho que da forma como ele vai no vestiário, de botar todo mundo pra cima, de brincar com um, brincar com o outro, de colocar apelido. Então ele sempre tem uma história diferente, né? Mas o que a gente mais ama é quando ele dá uma de cantor, coloca os vídeos no Instagram e começa a cantar ali. É o que mais a gente dá risada, que mais a gente ama quando ele faz. His name is Good Crazy.
Good crazy, yeah. You want that crazy around. But you need those type of people in the locker room. It's a long season, right?
Yeah,
so you gotta have some jokes and some good vibes. That's funny though.
It's funny.